Fall in, Polk County. This is today's veteran. Hello and welcome, and on behalf of everyone at the Polk County Office of Veteran Services, thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Kate West, and on this installment of Today's Veteran, we will visit with David Austin from the Florida Department of Veteran Affairs. Later, during our War Story segment, we will hear from Patrick Schweikart about his military experience. Now stand by for your sit rep, Polk County, and prepare to copy. The Defense Department has made troops' health records electronically available to the Veterans Affairs Department to speed up the adjudication of disability claims. DoD personnel worked with the VA to help determine what steps could be taken to alleviate the disability claims backlog. Together, they came up with the Health Artifact and Image Management Solution, or HAIMS, an electronic system that will make certified military service treatment records automatically available to the VA. The system is now in place for service members who have separated or been discharged from the military since the first of this year. The electronic records shared between the DoD and the VA also allow VA hospitals to access records. Complete military records are kept for patients while under DoD care and include information that comes from the commercial sector. Electronic records are now readily available and accessible by DoD clinicians at any time, anywhere in the world. Several leading veteran service organizations have said that the federal government will fall well short of meeting the health care and benefit needs of veterans in the coming years, and tens of billions of dollars in additional spending will be needed to adequately address the issue. The Department of Veterans Affairs receives funding for health care in advance to help plan and manage care. Advanced appropriations can be revised before the start of a fiscal year, but that doesn't always happen. One of the greatest concerns is the severely underfunded VA construction account, which is used to upgrade aging facilities to accommodate the millions of sick, wounded, and injured veterans of all generations. Less than $13.5 billion has been appropriated by the federal government during the past 12 years, $10 billion less than what was recommended by the Veteran Service Organization Group. VFW National Commander William Thien said that world-class healthcare requires first-class facilities, but through 13 years of war, VA construction accounts have only received about 57% of what his organization thinks is required. The Senate voted 95-3 to repeal cuts that would have reduced military retirement pay by tens of thousands of dollars for enlisted and officers alike. The House passed the same bill by a vote of 326-90. The 1% reduction in the annual cost of living adjustment for current working age military retirees was scheduled to go into effect in January 2016. The bill was part of a bipartisan budget deal in December intended to reduce the federal budget deficit and partially restore some of the automatic cuts that were imposed on the Pentagon and other government agencies during sequestration last year. The cost of living adjustment cut would have saved the government about $6 billion over the next decade. There are more than 160,000 women veterans living and working in Florida, and the state is sponsoring its first Women Veterans Regional Conference on 7 March at the Veterans Affairs Regional Office in St. Petersburg. The conference is open to women veterans only. Online registration is preferred, but not required. Navy veteran and State Women Veterans Coordinator Cynthia Brown organized the conference around the current issues affecting women vets, including employment, homelessness, healthcare, and benefits. Cynthia will appear on a future segment of Today's Veteran to talk about some of these issues and the work she is doing with the Florida Department of Veterans Affairs. Elected officials have said Florida is the most veteran-friendly state in the nation, but many student veterans believe it is time for politicians to back that statement up by giving tuition waivers to out-of-state veterans. More than a dozen other states already give all student veterans in-state tuition rates regardless of their state of origin. A legislative analysis showed that for the current school year, student veterans are expected to pay out-of-state tuition rates totaling more than $8 million to Florida universities.
The state of Florida has been helping veterans for many, many years, and since World War II. And in 1989, the state of Florida created a new department called the Florida Department of Veterans Affairs. So we're celebrating the 25 years of the FDVA, and today in studio we're glad to have David Austin, who is a Veterans Claims Examiner Supervisor, actually located in the James A. Haley Medical Center in Tampa. Welcome, David.
Well, thank you, Tim.
Tell me, let's start off, tell me about maybe a little bit of your background, how you maybe in the military and how you got to where you are now.
Okay, yeah. I was Army, active duty for about 11 years. And after separating in the Army, actually doing my military time, I mainly worked in the personnel field. Last duty station was here at MacDill Air Force Base, where I was the Army liaison at that time for REDCOM, which is now SOCOM. Once I separated, I was fortunate enough to get on with the Florida Department of Veteran Affairs in 1988, actually before it became a department. At that time, the Florida Department of Veteran Affairs was a division under the Department of Administration with the state of Florida. So I've been on board now. I started in '88, went to the Department of Veteran Affairs, and I just felt I had a better home with the state of Florida. So now I'm back with Florida, been on about 20 years, and I'm just enjoying the ride.
Yeah, so it is, the Florida Department of Veteran Affairs is a state organization that you work for the state of Florida.
Right, and a lot of people misunderstand that. For instance, the Florida Department of Veteran Affairs, as you said, is a state organization. It's not a federal organization. A lot of people ask, what's the difference in the two? The difference is the state of Florida is what's known as a veterans advocacy organization. And mainly what we do is advocate for benefits for veterans, whereas the Federal Department of Veteran Affairs is a federal agency and they administer the benefit. Now the difference in that is, as a State Department or as a veterans advocate, it is our mission to get veterans all the benefits they're entitled to.
And we in the Polk County Veteran Service Office, I can't tell you how many times that a veteran or a spouse or whatever comes in and is upset with the VA, and they come in and you did this and you didn't do that, and we have to explain to them that we are their advocate locally, and we certainly use the FDVA. I know there are 4 divisions in the FDVA. There's the administration, where the honchos sit, and there's the IT department, there's a department for veterans homes, and there's also the veterans benefits section. Which one of those do you actually work for? Well,
I work for the benefits section, and mainly in the Bureau of Field Services. There are 2 bureaus, the Bureau of Claims and the Bureau of Field Services. Under the Bureau of Field Services, we're primarily co-located at most VA facilities. Wherever there's a VA medical facility or outpatient clinic or some of the community-based facilities is where we're primarily located.
Okay. And I have a lot of veterans that come in and say, I was at James A. Haley and somebody visited me to help me file a claim. Would that be your group?
Exactly. As you said earlier, Tim, our office is located at the James Haley Medical Facility. And one of the primary functions of our office is to visit the patients that are on the ward, some of the inpatients. And a lot of times when they're admitted, we will actually go to bedside, talk with the veteran, counsel them about their benefits, and also pursue whatever benefits they may be eligible for.
Okay. Because like I said, we see that all the time where they'll come in and we will ask them, where did you start your claim? Because they'll have a decision letter or a VCAA letter or something, and we'll say, well, how did this start? And they'll say, somebody from the hospital came. I don't know who it was, but they did this for us. So that's a valuable service to somebody who's actually in the facilities.
Right.
Tell us about your relationship with the other service organizations like the VFW or the Vietnam Vets Association. Do you have a pretty good relationship?
Yes, we all have a pretty good relationship. The organizations you name, such as the Veterans of Foreign Wars, Disabled American Veterans, and so forth, are organizations who hold a national accreditation to represent veterans, the same as our department does. Currently, the Florida Department of Veteran Affairs is accredited through about 12 national organizations, the larger being the American Legion. Now, what this means is that when a veteran is pursuing an organization for assistance, normally we will have them fill out a form authorizing a particular organization to help that veteran. Once the veteran has chosen an organization to assist them, that organization can represent them up through the appeals process. The only thing is that a veteran can only have one organization at a time represent them. They can't have multiple organizations. And a lot of times we'll find that a veteran may be working with one organization and will go to the other organization that they're not represented with, and we kind of have to get them on track.
Right, right. So their advocate, they have to have one advocate that's helping them, and say if it's the VFW, the FDVA or as an American Legion representative cannot just jump in there and start doing things or actually even checking things for them, correct? Right.
What happens is once a veteran has chosen a service organization to represent them, it limits other organizations. The best analogy I could give, Tim, is kind of like an attorney. If an individual was to go and hire an attorney, normally they wouldn't go 2 doors down to another attorney and talk to that attorney about their case. They would mainly deal with their current attorney who they've retained. So the best example I could give is kind of like retaining an attorney once they choose a service organization.
Okay, mentioning an attorney, I've had veterans come into the Polk County Veteran Service Office, and they actually have retained a private attorney to represent them, such as Morgan & Morgan or someplace like that. And what's the rule of thumb on that if they actually have a private attorney as their advocate? What do we do? What does the FDVA
Well, in most cases when an attorney is involved, we will refer them to that attorney because what the veteran has done is said, this is the entity I want to represent me. So it's sort of a hands-off. That's who they've chosen, and you know, it's pretty much a hands-off at that point.
Okay.
But we will refer them back to the attorney that's working with them.
Okay. And then they could actually turn down the attorney or get a letter saying we're no longer using attorney, and then the FDVA or one of the service organizations can then represent them, correct?
Exactly. You're correct. At any point, be it an attorney, the VA also has what's called a claims agent, which is accredited through general counsel to represent veterans. But if a veteran were to choose an attorney, a claims agent, or a service organization, at any point the veteran can say, I no longer want this entity to represent me. That is the veteran's choice. Now, when a veteran is represented by any of these entities, that representation is only good in the VA's arena. For instance, If we were to be representing a veteran in their claims process or in the appeals process, it's only good within the realm of the VA. It doesn't apply in a civil matter.
Okay. When you talk about the claims process, there's so much in the media, so much in the VA media about the backlog of claims. What do you see as an insider, you know, right there at the VA? What do you see as far as, is it getting better? Are they processing claims faster? What do you think?
There's some variables on that. A lot of what dictates the length of a claim is how the claim is applied for. For instance, the VA recently came out with a new fully developed claim process. And initially, that process was designed to have a claim resolved within, say, about a 90 to 100-day time frame, start to finish, if everything is properly submitted. And that's one of the things that I think affects the claim more than anything, is when claims are not properly submitted. Now, there are times that claims do fall through the crack. There are times that they're not processed in the right manner. But I think it makes a world of difference when the claim is properly submitted. That has a large effect on the timeliness of the claim.
Would you say that most claims that are submitted do actually, the veteran has help submitting those, or I know the emphasis is on the internet claim process and things like that. Do you think that the veteran is better served using an advocate, using a service organization such as FDVA or VFW, or trying to do it on their own?
I think they're much better served when they use an organization, be it at the state level, be it at the county level, simply because veterans are not accustomed to the claims process. They're not familiar with the claims process. And what we are finding out is that under the new system of e-benefits, which is a great system, it opens a door where veterans are becoming their own advocates. And in most cases, veterans just aren't equipped to be their own advocates. They're not familiar with the laws. They're not familiar with changes in the laws. So I would strongly encourage any veteran who's pursuing any benefit through the VA to find an advocate, find someone who's going to assist them. And yes, at the end of the day, they'll be much better off.
Right, right. Well, one of the things we see here locally is, in fact, I just had a person in yesterday who originally came through us, filed a claim for his mother for a widow's pension. And when he got the results, he started pursuing it himself. Mm-hmm. Well, now the thing has stretched into 18 months mm-hmm. for a simple death pension. Mm-hmm. And what did he do at the end? He came back to us and said, right, please straighten this out for me, which, you know, I made a couple phone calls for him and things like that. So, you know, we're all humans, and humans try to usually take care of themselves, mm-hmm. and that'll usually get you in trouble.
You're absolutely right, Tim. And again, we have the resources. The county service officers, they attend certification courses. They're kept abreast of the changes in the law. And, you know, Mike Mason here in Polk County, I can't say enough about him. Great guy. He's doing a fantastic job here in Polk County for veterans. And he works closely with our department. We do the annual certifications for the county service officers to help them maintain their certification. And our veteran claim examiners are in continual training. This is something that the typical veteran would not receive. So when the veteran does decide to pursue a claim on their own, they are at a disadvantage because they're not familiar with the new forms, the new changes in law, the new processes that are in place. Again, it would definitely be to their advantage to find an organization to assist them.
Right, and that's, of course, what we're here for also. Mm-hmm. Changing gears just a little bit, you tell me about, we have veterans that come in and they maybe older and they can't get to the VA medical facilities. And I understand there is a program for long-term home health care. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh, that gets into quite a few things. The way the healthcare is structured, each medical center has a catchment area. And usually that catchment area is about 75-mile radius from the facility. For example, the James Haley Medical Center would be responsible for Hillsborough County, Pasco, Hernando, and Polk. So any of the veterans that reside in those counties would fall up under the Tampa VA Medical Center. Now, when it comes to medical care, there are also outpatient clinic and community-based clinics, which mainly specialize in primary type care. When a veteran has a need for home health care, usually that would be coordinated through the medical facility. They would do an evaluation, and depending on whether the veteran is service connected, whether they're non-service connected, there are just a lot of variables that go into that equation. But the home health care would fall under the medical center, and they would make a determination with respect to eligibility. Also, a lot of our veterans will go into the assisted living facilities. Some will go into the nursing homes. There's different criteria for each facility, and it affects the benefits in a different way.
Okay. One quick thing, we're about to run out of time. Do you have any knowledge, any inside knowledge of, because we have veterans in near Kissimmee, near Osceola County, that actually use the community-based outpatient clinic now over there. Do you have any knowledge of what's going on with the Orlando Medical Facility?
You're almost trying to get me in trouble, Tim. The last word that I got on the Orlando Medical Center is that it's been extended again. I want to say it's going to be the latter part of 2014. Don't quote me on that. But I know the opening date has definitely been moved out a little further. They're not opening as expected. And I know that's probably been about the 5th time or so.
Right.
But yeah, I think I want to say it's the latter part of 2014 now.
Okay. Well, listen, David, we're out of time. I know you are a Polk County guy. You're
Born
from
and raised.
Polk County.
Blue Devil.
So, Blue Devil from Winter Haven.
You got it, yeah.
We want to welcome you back home, and we want to wish you and FDVA a happy birthday.
Okay, thank you.
And we appreciate you coming on the show today.
Anytime, and if we could be of any service, any assistance, don't hesitate.
Thank you.
Okay?
And that's all we have for today. And the FDVA is a very important agency to us here at the Polk County Veteran Service Office. We call them daily for advice because every situation is different. So we're very happy to have the FDVA to help us.
Okay, thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
I served in the United States Marine Corps. I enlisted a month after high school graduation in 2006 and went all the way till summer of 2010. Served as a machine gunner in the infantry. Did multiple deployments. The one that I'm going to share with you is kind of on the lighter side. We had just got back from our second deployment, which was a MU, which is a Marine Expeditionary Unit. So we got to go out with the boats, the Navy boats, and float around and do a whole bunch of cool training. Well, we were back for not even a month. We were close to being detached from the MU, which means we don't have to respond to any crises in the world. And it was around January of 2010 when this happened, was the earthquake in Haiti. So we were just, that morning woke up, that Monday morning, I think it was that Monday morning, just got done doing some physical training and was eating breakfast, and it came on the news. And about everybody in my company was sitting in the chow hall eating. We were like, oh, they're going to give us the call and we're going to have to go. And we got back to the barracks, and about 20 minutes later, we had battalion formation randomly, and they told us that we were getting ready to head out to Haiti. We had 48 hours to load everything up, notify family members. So I called my mom and dad and my fiance at the time and said, I need you guys to come down and get my stuff because we're going to Haiti. The entire battalion, which is roughly about 500, 600, maybe 700 Marines, along with Navy personnel from the 3 ships, were loaded up and we were off the coast of Haiti within 42 hours. So we beat the deadline, which is the quickest load up and load out that they've done for responding to anything. And it was pretty cool to go down there. My experiences with the local populace down there wasn't the main area of Port-au-Prince where most people think of when they think of Haiti. They think of the heavily populated area. We were deployed to the outskirts and the countryside of Haiti, where we got to work with people that don't really have running water, regular food intake like restaurants and stuff. They have what they grow is what they eat, and just being able to go out there and help those people, get them medical supplies, give them food, give them water, help out with recovery efforts, with cleaning up rubble and that kind of stuff. It was really rewarding for me to kind of change tone from what most people think of when they think of the Marine Corps as like kicking down doors, going after bad guys and doing that stuff. Is the humanitarian side of it, is helping people out when they're in need, especially those that are in areas where you got to take a truck ride through some back country, is what I call it down there, to get to them. That was really rewarding for me to help somebody out, you know, to pull into an open field and people like see us and they're all excited because they're like, well, what are we doing here? And then we start handing them, you know, water and food, and we bring a whole multitude of medical doctors and that out there to, you know, treat anybody that's sick, anybody that's hurt from it, and just kind of help out with the cleaning process. And spent 3.5 months there, and I feel like we really did a lot of good for that area that we were in. So that's my story.
In this month in history, Fort Alamo fell to Mexican troops led by General Santa Anna this month in 1836. Remember the Alamo became a rallying cry for Texans who went on to defeat Santa Anna in the Battle of San Joaquito in April of that year. The United States launched an attack against Iraq on 19 March in 2003 in the attempt to topple Saddam Hussein from power. The troops conquered the country's capital, Baghdad, just 21 days later. And finally, Patrick Henry ignited the American Revolution with a speech before the Virginia Convention in Richmond in March 1775. In the speech, Henry famously stated, "I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death." That's all we have for this edition of Today's Veteran. Next month, we will update you on news and information that pertains directly to our veteran community right here in Polk County. Remember, for help and information regarding claims, benefits, and services available to veterans and their families, call the Veteran Service Office or log on to the Polk County website.